Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm Jessica Flynn and I am the owner and maker of Flynn Sisters Boutique. And today we have a really fun video. My friend Taylor Duncan from Duncan Custom Airbrush on YouTube has challenged me to do a Powerwash tumbler and using his original design here. Now there's a few other awesome channels included in this challenge that I'm going to have listed here, and I'm also going to have them linked down below. They're also participating in this challenge, and basically I just have to come up with my own version of this Powerwash tumbler using this decal that Duncan made. You can find this decal design on his website. I'm definitely going to have that listed below, and I just feel really honored and excited to be a part of such a cool challenge with a bunch of other really talented channels. So that's enough chit chat for me. Let's go ahead and get started. You guys, so I'm going to start out like I normally do by prepping my cup with Final Sand paste. This is a sanding compound from DIY Epoxy. I'll have it listed down below in the description box in the epoxy section. And what this is going to do is just gently scuff up the surface of our stainless steel, and it also has a really nice detergent built in, so it's also going to clean it. So it's a one-step process to properly prep the surface of our cups so that it's nice and happy for paint and epoxy and everything else. I'm just using a maroon scouring pad to scuff up all the surfaces of my cup, and then we're going to completely rinse it off and then dry it off really well with some paper towels. And then once we've got our prep work out of the way, I'm going to spray paint my entire cup white. I'm using a Rust-Oleum flat spray paint. It's both a paint and a primer. And I'm going to put a pretty solid coat on here. You do want to make sure that you have really nice coverage for this white because it is going to be an element in our design later. All right, and so once I've got that all sprayed nicely and evenly, I'm going to let it dry in front of a space heater to help speed up that drying process. And I'm going to start shaking up my colored spray paint. Fluorescent colors really do need you to shake them up really well, so I try to shake each can for at least 60 seconds. Now we are going to spray the Dawn Power Wash. Keep in mind, wherever we spray the Dawn Power Wash, it's going to act as a barrier for our colored paints. So we want to spray the Power Wash only in the places where we want negative space. So only where we don't want the paint to go is where we're going to spray that Power Wash. And then working very quickly, I'm just going to spray like a kind of calico pattern of all my different colors. And I'm spraying right over that Dawn Power Wash. Be sure that you don't tilt your cup too much where your power wash is, because it can kind of slide down a little bit and you don't want that to happen. You want it to stay put in this one particular area. For this design, I wanted it to go in the area that I was going to place my decal later. So just kind of be mindful of that when you're mapping out your design. I want to get pretty good coverage with the colors that I'm using, but I also want to work quickly. So that's why we made sure that we vigorously shake in all of our paints before we get started here, so we can just really let it rip. And I don't really have any kind of rhyme or reason to how I'm spraying my colors here. I'm just kind of spraying them all around the cup until I get a design that looks kind of cool. So obviously, you guys could take this any way that you want. I love how Duncan did his. He did kind of an ombre with like a coral at the top and a teal at the bottom. I'm just going for a bunch of bright, beautiful colors. Once I've got all my spray paint sprayed on there, I'm going to dip my cup into some like room temp water in a bucket, and that's going to wash away all that excess Dawn Power Wash to reveal that white part of our design. You could also do this with a hose as well. It's just super cold where I'm at, and I think it would be best to dunk this into like warmer water. I don't know, I could be wrong, but I think it turned out pretty well doing it that way, and it was super easy to just have that bucket of warm water on hand for when I was ready to rinse off that soap. Next, I am going to prep my vinyl. I've already cut leopard print spots all over my vinyl. I cut it at 7 by 10 inches. And I'm using the fuzzy leopard print file from Bear Trends Designs, same one that I always use. I'll have that file linked down in the comments. After I cut it out on my vinyl, I am going to scuff up my vinyl with the final sand paste. This is going to scuff up my vinyl and make it kind of matte so that I can spray paint it with the same colors that we use to spray paint our cup. So after you rub it all over your vinyl and you could see that you've got some kind of like matte situation happening here, you're just going to wipe all that excess final sand paste off with a moist paper towel. You really want to make sure that you get all that excess sanding compound off. So really clean it well. And then once it's all dry and ready to go, we're going to clip it to a clipboard, take it outside, and spray paint it with the same colors that we used to spray paint our cup, and in a similar pattern as well. So just to recap our process with the vinyl here, we cut our vinyl with the leopard print sized at 10 by 7 if you're using the same file that I'm using. And then we prepped it with the final sand sanding paste and cleaned it off. Then we put it on a clipboard, and now we're spray painting it with the same colors and the same pattern that we spray painted on our cup. Okay, and you'll notice that I haven't weeded my file yet. You don't need to do that. I just think it's messier if you try to weed it before you spray it, but that's just a personal preference for me. And you also don't want to spray too heavily on your vinyl either. I normally would do this on white vinyl, however, I didn't have any, so I just used this cream colored vinyl and it worked out fine. So once our spray paint is completely dry, really give it some time to dry. We're going to go through and weed this real quickly here. And then once we've got our vinyl all weeded and cleaned up, we're just going to hand place it on the cup in opposite color sections from the colors that we're picking from in our leopard print here, if that makes sense. So here I'm just putting like an orange one in the purple section. I'm going to put some purple ones in the orange section, and so on and so on. And so it just creates this kind of cool, different, like inverted effect with our pattern that I thought was really fun. You guys have seen me do this before on the nude and white matte leopard print cup that I had done a few months back, and I just think this is such a fun and easy look to put together. You'll also notice that I'm putting this vinyl right over my spray paint, and we can do that because our cup should be smooth, no problem there, and this pattern is easy enough to just pick and pull and put straight onto the cup, and it's spray painted, so you're not going to see any imperfections below it if there were any. And I'm also going to place this vinyl decal from Taylor Duncan with Duncan Airbrush right here in this awesome white spot from our power wash that we created. This is so cool. I think it looks like a bleached t-shirt. I love this look. And if you are doing this at home and you want to like print the same image on printable vinyl and use print and cut, you certainly can do that as well. I have a great tutorial on how to use print and cut with your Cricut. I will link that down below. Once we've got all those decals on there, I just went straight into epoxy. There is no reason to seal this. You can just go right over this with your first coat of epoxy. Let this coat dry for about 8 to 12 hours, and then we moved on to our sanding and our decal. The sanding on this cup was really easy because we didn't do any glitter, so I just sanded the rim like I normally would, and then I did any kind of extra little sharp points that might have been poking up on the sides here and there, just to make sure everything was nice and smooth before we went in to put on our decal. All right, and for my decal, I just did something really simple that I designed really quick. It says create, don't hate, and I've already layered it up and it's ready to go. So I'm just going to transfer this onto my cup like I normally would. And if you notice that I have several different pieces of transfer tape on this decal. It's because it was really giving me a hard time with the weeding and all of that. Anyhow, if you guys are having issues with layering and offsetting your files, I will put a tutorial down below in the description box that you might find helpful. All right, so once I got that decal on there, I went in for my final coat of epoxy. I got lucky this time. It only needed one more coat of epoxy and we were good to go. So that's it for this tutorial, or I guess I should say this challenge. I love how this turned out. Thank you so much, Taylor Duncan, for including me in this challenge. I had a lot of fun with this, and I finally got an opportunity to try out this Dawn power wash method that I have been seeing everywhere. I think it's so cool. It reminds me of bleached shirts, which you guys know I love my bleached shirts. And this just was a lot of fun to create. Taylor, I think you did a fabulous job with this decal design. I think it's so cute. And I hope you guys all check out all the other makers that are included in this challenge and see what they put together for the challenge. So thank you so much for watching my video. We'll see you again soon. If you love this video, you could check out our last video here. Also be sure to find us on Instagram, Facebook, Pinterest, and of course subscribe for all our new videos that come out every Wednesday and Saturday. Thanks so much for watching. See you soon.